up, you guys? This is Rob from Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, we are back with my official Anthem review. And if I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I would rather not be doing this video. I kind of just want to jump back in game and continue playing. However, for some strange reason, the media has got a massive hate boner against us. Like, legitimately, I have not seen one raging this long and this hard for quite some time. And after about 105 hours of playing this game, I kind of feel like a lot of the things that they are saying are completely and utterly unfounded, or they're holding this game to a completely ridiculous double standard. So I figured that what I would go ahead and do is take some very important bullet points of information that I think you guys need to know about it, present it as objectively as possible. Now, there are certain times where I'm gonna be a bit more subjective and I'm gonna be like flashing signs and saying, hey, this is going to be a subjective portion of the review, but that has a little bit more to do with the storyline than anything. So you know how it can get a little bit murky there. Aside from that, whenever I'm not talking about something that I need to specifically show you in game, I'm gonna go ahead and toss in some footage in the background, because one of the things I don't want to do in this video is tell you whether or not you should buy this game. I just want to give you the information. I want to let you guys see the gameplay and have you decide for yourself whether you think it is something for you or not. Really, it's all going to come down to whether you enjoy the gameplay loop, and if you don't, not going to be for you. If it looks really, really cool and interesting and you want to know more, maybe it's something you should investigate. So without ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. Alrighty, so first things first, we're going to address the ever so exciting world of technical issues. Yes, I'm sure many of you guys are at the edge of your seats right now. However, this was a major sticking point for a lot of the reviewers out there that took a look at this during the VIP and public demos, then went ahead and played a little bit of the early access and then pushed their review out before the day one patch came through. However, I am very, very happy to say that that day one patch fixed so many things, and I am super duper happy. So let's go ahead and take a look at one of those things right now. So as you can see right here, I actually have a live screen grab of my editing software because the day one patch promised a 50% reduction in load times. Now, instantly, I was extremely skeptical. Listen, I've worked with marketing departments before and they would say things like up to 50%. I was like, so is that 50%? Well, it could mean anything from 2% to 50%. Like, really, is it 50% or not? So I went ahead and took a little bit of a recording. So Sequence 842 is the pre-day one patch. Sequence 844 is the post-day one patch, and these are both for free play maps. So it's that big, massive map. Now, before you start talking about numbers or loading times or anything like that, I do have to stress that I am also on an old hard drive. I don't have an SDD. Oh God, DSS? Oh, I'm showing my age. Anyway, let's just jump into it because I'm gonna feel bad. So as you can see right here, Sequence 842, the way that I did this is I took the loading time from the starting bar menu. You can see there's the little white bar here and there's nothing there. And then I went ahead and ended the second that we kind of loaded in, and then the bar disappeared from the actual load up times. Oh my God, I'm scared that the audio is gonna be super duper loud, but you see that yellow bar that's at the top right there? As soon as it disappears from the loading screen, that's exactly where I took it as like, okay, it's done loading. And I did that the same with both of them. This one, the original one, is actually 3 minutes and 5 seconds. The load times were insane. However, as you can see down here, I've done the exact same thing for Sequence 844. So we start out with completely blank, we're all at a black screen, and then it's slowly loading up, right? And as we go down the line, you'll see I did the exact same thing for this one that I did for the other one. You still see that little bar up top, and then the second that the bar disappears, the clip is over. And we're actually sitting at, oh, let's see, 1 minute and 30 seconds. That is literally 50% shorter. I was actually shocked. I was like, I didn't know that they were gonna be that accurate. And one thing that I also want to put out, just for you skeptics out there, because I know some people really have a hate boner for this game and they want to make shit up. As you can see right here, this is my video one screen, and this is the percentage for the speed of the current clip. The current clip is at 100%, the current clip is at 100%, so nothing has been tampered with in any way, shape, or form. They did actually deliver on that 50% reduction in load time promises. And to kind of continue that narrative too, one of the things that they talked about was when you got tethered in a squad, the load times were really, really short for that. Literally like 15 seconds. Like whenever you got tethered and you're like, oh no, like it's gonna drag me into the rest of the squad, it was in moments you would pop right back up. So I really have to applaud them big time for actually delivering on what they promised. Now, continuing on the theme of technical issues, one of the things that I definitely ran into a lot before was audio loss. Just randomly throughout your game, all of your audio would completely drop out, and sometimes it would drop out during the middle of a mission, so you'd be sitting there like, I really want to keep going on, but I can't tell or get any audio cues if enemies are like shooting or what's happening, so it can be a little bit of a disadvantage. However, after the day 1 patch, I have not experienced that whatsoever, but I did have one person on Twitter tell me that he had experienced audio loss. I don't know anything more from that because they did not elaborate as to whether it's continued to happen to them or not, but I have hours of Twitch VOD footage that shows no audio losses whatsoever. So definitely a big thumbs up there. Moving along, we have crashes. Now for those of you guys with a hate boner on Anthem, you will be happy to hear, yes, I have experienced a crash or two. In fact, in the course of the last 3.5 days, I have experienced 2 crashes. Are you excited? Are you feeling your hate boner rise? Good for you. Now, if I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really mind this too much because of the fact that I understand no game is 100% perfect and there are always gonna be bugs that need to be ironed out. However, my big thing that I love about this is the fact that their servers actually save all of your information. In many other games, if you crash out, you lose all of the rewards that you had gained during that session. But what I'm finding is that 100% of the time, from my personal experience, I can't speak for anybody else's, is that when I log back in, I can either get back into the session, or if I can't get into that session, I can get into another session, open up free play, quit out of free play real quick, and then it'll give me the end of mission screen, and it'll give me all of the items that I had accrued during that mission where I crashed. So, well, not happy about the crashes, but I'm happy about the fact that I can feel safe in the fact that everything I earned is still gonna be there when I come back. Moving along to flight and swimming, this was definitely something that was a big issue for keyboard and mouse players. However, I can say that even when they launched the early access, flight and swimming was 100% fine. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and leave some uncut footage in the background for you guys throughout this video that shows the flying. Usually I like to cut it out because it's not combat, but I figured a lot of you guys were curious about that. The only thing that I do need to make a little bit of a point about is that each javelin has their own handling, especially during flight. You'll find that storms are very floaty, very fluid. You'll find that interceptors have a lot of kind of jagged pivot points where they can really sway and swerve very quickly. So each javelin is gonna handle a bit differently. So definitely keep that in mind when you're talking about flight. Now when it comes to the swimming, feels great as well, and one of the big points that they had is during one of the strongholds, there is a really dark tunnel where you cannot see anything, and there are a couple times that I hate to admit I drowned in the tunnels because I got lost because it was so dark. But they lightened everything up, so you can definitely see things a lot better underwater, and some of their underwater environments are absolutely gorgeous. That was an objective point, you can decide for yourself, but I think that they're very pretty. Moving along, for the hate boner people out there, I have experienced some issues because, you know, this game is not perfect, and I want to reiterate that to people. While I do quite enjoy it a bit, there are some not great moments. And this one, I don't know if it's my fault, I don't know if it's their fault, I don't know where this is coming from, but rubber banding is probably the biggest issue that I am currently running to in the game. Now, it's not consistent. So I don't know if it's their servers, I don't know if it's my internet, because if you guys have ever watched my Twitch streams, sometimes we get dips in connectivity issues. So I don't know if that's it. I'm also playing on a wireless modem. I know some of y'all just cringe right there. I am not hardwired into my router. I'm currently not in my normal recording / living space, so all of those wires are back home in my other router. So I'm using someone else's router, and I'm not hard linked into that. So definitely keep that in mind when I talk about rubber banding, because again, I'm not sure if it's on my end, I'm not sure if it's on their end. I've had a lot of viewers on stream saying, the other streamers I watch don't get rubber banding this bad. So I don't know what to tell you. And the thing is, rubber banding does not occur like 80% of the time. So the game is like great, but there are moments where you're like, I don't know if this is good or bad. However, sometimes you get that lucky lag, you know, where it's kind of like, oh, he could have shot me, but it's probably the lag just glitching me out, so you can't kill me. Or the other way around, where you accidentally get shot behind a rock because you're lagging that bad. So not sure if it's me, not sure if it's them, but it is an issue that I am experiencing. Leave that in the comments below if you're there with me too. Moving along, we have the next hot topic, which of course is microtransactions. And let me tell you, there were so many people foaming up the mouth for this one. They're like, oh, you better watch it. EA's gonna get their claws into your wallet and they're gonna suck you dry. They're gonna ruin this game with loot boxes and they're gonna nickel and dime you for everything. And to be honest with you, it's not actually that bad. If you take a look at this right here, we have two different forms of currency. We have coin, which is earned in-game, and then we have shards, which is the purchasable currency. Now, as you can see, the way that it breaks down is that 100 shards equal $1. So these skins are about $8.50 for the pack. So, you know, that's the full kit that you get there. Or you can get things like emotes, which are $4, or textures, which are about $3. However, I personally don't own any shards whatsoever because I have a whole bunch of coin and very little to spend it on. But I'll get into a more subjective review of that in a second. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of the different ways that you can earn this coin, because people were like, you better watch, it's gonna be really hard to earn coin in the game, just you wait, they're gonna make it so difficult for you and you're not gonna be able to get anything that you want. Ugh. God, that rage boner is just so fucking strong for some people. It's kind of crazy. So as you can see, this is the critical path of the game. This is literally your storyline as you go down. And as you go through it, you earn coin. So there's 4,000 coin there. Sorry, I clicked it twice. There's another one. There's another 2,000 coin. There's an incursion, which is another 2,000 coin. There's a Fortress of Dawn, which is 2,000 coins. So throughout the game, you're actually just innately earning this currency. And I'm sure that there are many of you guys that are out there that are like, but wait, what happens when the story's over? We're not going to be able to earn any of that coin. Well, actually, one of the things that we have, if I can click on the right things, because I'm really, really bad at navigating this, whatever this is, we also have our Path to Glory, which is our monthly, daily, and weekly challenges that are going on. So as you can see, the weekly right now has factions. So as soon as I complete factions, I get 2,000 coin. As soon as I complete the legendary contracts, I get another 2,000 coin. Let me just make sure that I wasn't clicking on something different. No, it's two different ones. So as you can see right here, the monthly, you can also earn coin from there as well. Or you can't earn coin from there. I'm lying. That was a lie. That was a lie. But the completed daily challenge, you actually get them from, I believe, strongholds give you 1,000, and then you get world events, which also give you 375. So you're getting coins sprinkled throughout all of this. And I believe also, I'm not sure if I can show it here, maybe in the social. No, it's not in the social. There's actually an area for it that goes ahead and shows you something called your alliance. So your alliance are people that you regularly play with, people that are on your friends list, and being friends with people who play a lot will actually earn you free coin as well. So as you can see right down here, this is our alliance status. So you can see all of my friends that are contributing to extra coin that we get every week. So not only are you getting it passively through being friends with people that give you coin because they play the game, but you can also earn it through your weekly challenges after you're done with the storyline. So there is an abundance of coin, and microtransactions aren't necessarily something that we should be too worried about at this moment. Now, we never know what's gonna happen in the future. I'm realistic, but for now, everything seems on the up and up. So I promised you guys a little bit of a hot take when it came to Anthem's store, and I do need to stress that this is completely and utterly subjective. But yo, BioWare, you gonna go out of business if your shit keeps looking like this. I'll be 100% real. I got all this coin sitting around and nothing that I want to spend it on, which means that I'm not going to go buy shards, because if I'm looking at this and I don't want to buy this, I'm not going to burn through my coin stash. I'm not going to pick up any shards, and yo asses are going out of business. I just need to stress that ASAP, because gum on shoe is not going to be an emote that makes me want to rush to your store. All right, whatever weird flappy dick thing you got going on with your little guardian armor pack for the ranger, what is that? I don't want that. I don't really like all of this. And here's the issue too. I mean, I get it. If people want to go above and beyond and support you, that's fine. But I want to support you when it comes to you making nice things, not little flappy dick things and weird metal diamond plate things, okay? And all your vinyls are ugly too. Just putting that out there. If we can't color the vinyls that go on our suit, then what the hell is the problem? Why can't you get someone to get on that ASAP? Listen, fashion is money, honey, and we ain't spending shit on whatever the hell this is. Okay? So next up we have a category where BioWare is actually pretty strong in, which is of course the storyline. From beginning to end, including all of the side quests, you have about 30 to 35 hours of story play, dialogue, and gameplay combined. I don't know what to call it, but you know what I'm saying. Now, this is the part where things become a little bit more subjective, and it's really, really hard to be objective about a storyline, so I'm sorry. If I'm gonna be honest with you, the storyline feels like it's definitely a setup for something bigger. It does not feel as long as I wish it was. It doesn't feel fully fledged out, but it definitely feels like a launching point. However, during that time, during the setup, there are some characters that you just absolutely fall in love with, and they give you a lot of progression within a short amount of time. So there's a lot of attachment that occurs there. However, on the sad end of the spectrum, while there were some amazing voice actors and there were some amazing character models and character rigging, that was about like 80 to 85% of the time. So you got some really great people there working behind the scenes to make everything pretty and beautiful and presentable and make everything sound great, but there were some moments where I'm like, the quality for some reason really dropped off on this character. Sometimes it was just the face rigging, sometimes it was just the voice acting, but certain things were not up to par when as compared to other characters. So I'm sitting there, and, I'm having a dialogue with one character, and I'm like, oh, you sassy, I love your little body movement, that's amazing. And then you get to another character, and I'm like, what happened with you? Like, your face rigging, great. Your body expression, great. But, who's doing your voice, and who said that accent was a good one? Because you need to call your friends and have them be honest with you, because that's not a good look, sound, don't know what to call it. Or we had the complete opposite for certain characters where the voice work was great and the face was just a little bit dead. I was like, I don't know if I like this. I'm gonna close my eyes and I'm just gonna let your voice reverberate through my body and I'm gonna pretend I don't see your face rigging. So, like 85% of the time, it was fantastic, but there was a little portion there where it was just not as good. But I will say one of the things that I really need to stress to you guys, if you do end up picking up this game, talk to everyone. There are so many amazing stories on the sidelines, and you definitely feel that BioWare energy, that attention to like emotions of human beings. Like, let me tell you, for those who have played it, the woman and her son, that storyline was crazy. Dax and her aunt, I mean, I related. I don't know if anybody else did. The two married spies, that was a good one. The radio shows and the fanfics. Oh my god. It's just so BioWare, and it's absolutely fantastic. And I kind of feel bad for some of the reviewers out there that you can tell just rushed through the entire game and they didn't experience this portion, because this portion is great and sometimes extremely fucking hilarious. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and jump into the meat of the matter, which of course is the gameplay. And the next statement I make will be the make it or break it for a lot of people when it comes down to whether you should purchase this game. The devs have stated that they really wanted to do a lot of ability-focused combat. While the guns are there and you can definitely use them to kill enemies, they are going to kind of play second fiddle to each of the Javelin's ability sets. And if I'm going to be honest with you, if you like using abilities, this is a great place to do it because each of the Javelins play extremely differently. When you're on an interceptor, you're doing completely different things than when you are on a storm. And there is even a little bit of an adjustment period that you need to make in order to kind of like go from one gameplay into the next. And that's not only fed in by their abilities, but it's also fed in by the weapons. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this all kind of plays out. So, for me, what I'm currently running with is Unending Battle and Siegebreaker. Now, Siegebreaker, as you can see, is a fast fire rate sniper rifle. While that seems a little bit weird, you actually have a really cool bonus to that. So on a hit streak of 3, shots will freeze the target. So what that actually does is not only does it freeze the target, but it primes the target. So, as an interceptor, you can actually go ahead and take pot shots at an enemy in a group of enemies, and then you can go ahead and dash in very quickly, trigger a combo, and then have an ice aura that freezes all of the enemies around you. So there is a cool synergistic gameplay that occurs between weapons and the Javelins that use them. Continuing with that fact, we have Unending Battle. So what we have here is Gladiator's Wrath. Hitting an enemy at point blank range increases weapon and melee damage by 110% for 5 seconds. So as you can see here, we start things off with Siegebreaker, we freeze a target, we dash in, we go ahead and trigger a combo, enemies are frozen, then we go ahead and pull out Unending Battle, and because of the fact that they're sitting ducks, you can go ahead and get enemies at point blank range, which increases your melee damage and your weapon damage, so you can just lay into these enemies like nobody's business. And to me, that kind of mechanical synergisticness is just, it feels really good. And again, I need to stress, that's an opinion. Not everybody is going to feel that way. There are a lot of people out there that really value gunplay, and they just want to be able to shoot at targets. And at this current point in time, and I need to stress that because this is a live service, so things may end up changing as time progresses, the weapons kind of do play a secondary role. And as you can see, there are a lot of really interesting things. We have things like Death from Above. Like I was saying, each different Javelin has a very different gameplay style. And this one actually focuses on storm play. So as you can see, Raptor Sense. While hovering, it increases weak point damage by 65%. So if you're flying around and you're just hovering, which of course storms are going to do a lot because they get bonuses to their shields as they're hovering, they're going to end up dealing more damage. So it's something that they've already got going for them. Moving along, we have Elemental Rage. Now, as a interceptor, you don't necessarily have some of the basic elements there. You have some electricity, but really you like a little bit of ice, you like a little bit of toxin. But as you can see right here, we have Veteran's Fur. Hitting elite enemies increases all elemental damage by 5% for 10 seconds, and it stacks to 20. So if you can picture a storm running with this and just laying into enemies with all of their elemental attacks, again, we have this great synergistic play between the abilities and the guns. Again, some people might feel sad because they don't want to use their guns to trigger abilities, but there are some people that love that kind of interplay and really want to power themselves up by using things like that. Now, there are other guns that are focused on kind of improving themselves, so just in case you guys do want something that kind of boosts it up, we have something like Glorious Result, which is Gunslinger's Fury. So hitting enemy weak points twice quickly increases all weapon damage by 150% for 5 seconds. So as you can see right there, it's kind of going ahead and pushing forth some of the gunplay. So there are weapons for all different styles, but the main focus of many of these guns is going to be to help you be better at your ability combat. And for those of you guys who are out there that are a little bit worried about the ability combat, because some of them are a little bit bland when you first start out, when you get into Masterwork tier, you get some really, really cool effects. So as you can see here, one of my favorite abilities is Sudden Death, which is an upgrade from Tempest Strike. So Tempest Strike delivers a very, very powerful blow, right? However, when you upgrade it into a Masterwork, or when you actually gain a Masterwork, hitting an enemy detonates a fire explosion. So again, like we were talking about, my current setup is I like to freeze enemies at range, dash in, you know, go ahead and trigger a combo, and then kind of gun people down at the same time. Well, while you're doing all of that, you can go ahead and use Sudden Death to trigger this AoE explosion in the area where enemies are frozen. So that's even more damage. And on top of that, as you can see, the roll that I have here says gear 100% charges. So I can actually trigger this twice. So while combat might seem a little bit basic at first, it is going to get really, really exciting later down the line. And as you can see right here as well, we have really cool things like Sparkling Spear, which is the effect from Karif's Terran, is actually an upgrade to Detonating Strike, is an explosive melee attack. It instantly restores 35% health after defeating an enemy. So boom, right there, you're getting all of these really, really cool bonuses that help synergize with your Javelin. And I think that for me, I love the synergistic combat. The ability combat, yeah, but I like the fact that a lot of the abilities kind of interplay with themselves. And for those of you guys who are wondering how to upgrade your Javelin and not just the abilities, you actually have all of these great components, which do bonus things as well when you get into Masterwork, but you'll get some nice basic things like Elusive Talisman. Before its base will increase weapon damage at 25% just on its own for the standard version. However, when you upgrade it, or when you get the Masterwork version of it, sorry, let me stress that, dashing 3 times refills the equipped weapon magazine. So remember, like I was saying earlier, when I go ahead and snipe enemies from afar, well, when I dash in, I'm actually reloading my sniper rifle at the exact same time, and it also reloads any of the rounds that I had used up in my close-up pistol. So again, the synergy is absolutely fantastic. You just have to be okay with the fact that this isn't necessarily a game that focuses mainly on gunplay. So now that we're done with gameplay, a lot of people have asked, well, after we're done with the critical storyline, what is there left to do? Well, because of the fact that this is a live service, they have kind of left the story a bit open-ended, but there is still a lot of faction earning that you can go ahead and do. As you can see, we have the Arcanist loyalty, and upgrading each loyalty tier, you'll actually get blueprints and, most importantly, some metallic colors to add on to your Javelin. Same goes for Arcanist loyalty 3, as well as the Sentinel Loyalty 2 and Sentinel Loyalty 3. So you get some metallics from there, but when it comes to Freelancer Loyalty, you actually get cool new wear states. We get clean and we get new, and new is definitely my favorite, so I was definitely glad to get that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought that this was it. I thought that I was done. I was like, I got all of those are completed, but then I realized that there's another level which is further progression that I was like, oh my god, I gotta work on this ASAP. As you can see right here, we have the Champion of Tarsus. So in the previous ones, you got some regular standard blueprints. In this one, you get Masterwork blueprints, and you get coin down there at the bottom, and the gold metallic. So part of me is like, you gotta go for the gold, you gotta make this happen. Now, of course, that is a lofty goal of a lot of standing with each of these different factions, but you know what? Progress has to be made. You got to go for the gold. Now, some other people are out there asking, okay, well, what about strongholds? You only get 3 strongholds. And I'm like, yeah, you only get 3 strongholds. But, you know, in League of Legends, you only get 1 map. So I don't really know why people are so pissed about that. However, I will point out one big thing. Strongholds might be the thing that you can go and run every day, but free play is also massively amazing. Swapping back into gameplay, one of the things that I really need to stress is the fact that free play exists. I know that everybody gets super duper caught up with these strongholds and like grinding them out and getting these chests, but let me tell you, I've gotten a whole lot of Masterworks and legendaries within free play myself. So I feel like it's definitely a place worth grinding things out with a little bit more freedom and a lot more variety, just in case you get a little bit bored. Now don't get me wrong, like stronghold play is great when you have a really good group and you're like jiving through all of the difficult mission and just tearing up the whole place, and then you get to the final boss and you whittle her health down to half in the first stage and you're like, gee, And it's a really, really great feeling when you see the spider like climbing up the wall as it's dying and it poops out all of the loot and you're like, yes, suffer. Feels fantastic. But sometimes you want to give yourself a little bit of a break, and to be completely honest with you, I love free play because of the fact that you never know what is coming up. I always get really, really excited when it's an Ursix fight. I don't know what it is, but they are like the things that I want to murder the most. I'm like, I just want to kill you, but I love you because I want to hug you and murder you at the same time. So it's always fun whenever you like stumble onto one of those. The ones that I hate the most are the turrets. I'm like, oh God, you again. But you get used to it and you learn how to play around it, and I've definitely felt like going in free play and being exposed to a lot of different types of scenarios have actually made me a better player. So I absolutely love that, cannot stress that enough. And on the totem pole of difficulty, they are a little bit lower. So if you're a little bit newer to, like, let's say Grandmaster 2 or Grandmaster 3 and you're like testing the waters to see how you're gonna do, free play is a great way to do it as well. So that's definitely great for progression, and it'll help you move forward by getting better gear. Definitely be sure to check that out. Now, when it comes to progression too, don't forget, you don't have to just main one javelin. You can actually go through and play all of the different javelins because they play so differently. So going through all of the different ones is another form of progression and lets you master all of the different styles of play. In addition to all of that, there are more things that are going to be coming in the future. They've actually released a roadmap that shows off the fact that in March, which is only like a week or two away, they're going to introduce Alasian Stronghold caches. I probably said that very, very wrong because I can never read names, but these are the vanity caches that you're going to end up finding in Strongholds. So now you're going to have a new reason to go in. It's going to contain emotes, it's going to contain skins, vinyls, everything like that for you to check out. Supposedly they said that it's going to be 4 boxes at the end. You'll be able to earn a key from your daily mission, so you'll be able to do that, bring that into the stronghold, pick a chest, and whatever you unlock will be unlocked for the rest of the entire team, and there are not going to be any repeats as far as I'm aware, because that's what they said, that it's not going to repeat. So they're going to have that, and they're going to have new legendary missions that you guys will be able to go on, which will be upgraded, more difficult versions of the critical path for the main storyline. Then, after that month, we're actually going to see more things. In April, they're going to introduce a new stronghold. They're going to be introducing weekly stronghold challenges and guilds. And then in May, they're going to toss out the Cataclysm, which is supposed to be this big, really, they don't want to use the word raid, but they said it's aspirational content. So it's going to be things that maybe you're not going to be able to access straight away and be good at, but it's something you're going to want to work towards. So with all of that aside, those are just things that they've said. At its baseline, this shows a lot of potential for moving forward and for growing and for getting bigger. You know, some people want everything right now, and you know what? I say that in the time being, let's go ahead and grind things up, and let's go ahead and get powerful enough for that aspirational content that is to come. That's subjective though. That's my personal feelings on the matter. And it's nice to see, because the thing is, this is a live service, and it's really, really hard to judge a live service as is, because there are many other live services out there that have changed drastically from when they first launched. And that's a thing to keep in mind, because these days, games tend to not stay the same in the live service industry. They tend to evolve and get better, and that is what I am personally hoping for. So that about concludes all of the things that I wanted to go ahead and address when it came to Anthem. Go ahead and leave any further questions down in the comments below. And hopefully I'll be able to go ahead and answer them to you, but if there are a lot, maybe I can go do an additional video. But what I'm actually gonna do is, if I have any more footage, I'm just gonna keep letting it roll in the background. I'm gonna go ahead and widescreen it so that you guys can just pay attention to the gameplay, see if it's something you like. I do want to say though that when capturing this gameplay, because I'm capturing on the same computer that I am playing it, I actually have to capture it at a lower resolution, so it's not as pretty as I would like it to be as if I were capturing on a separate computer, but I haven't mastered that yet. We'll get to it eventually. Regardless, that about does it for me for now. I hope you guys found this objective and helpful, or as objective as I could possibly be, and then subjective, and I told you where the subjective parts are. Anyway, I'm rambling. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody. and touch your body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Best soldiers. I'm impressed. Always a pleasure to see the Dominion humbled.